Right, good afternoon students. Good to see you all for the first of our Rosh Chodesh sessions of the year. As in previous years, we have a wonderful selection for you over the course of the six sessions that we will have in here, covering Jewish values, covering Israel, covering social action. We've got the senior rabbis of several different denominations lined up in the future. We hope also to have the Israeli ambassador coming to speak to us on one of the sessions as well. So we have a rich, varied and fully kosher diet for you coming up over the next few months. So today we kick the programme off with the social action element of our ethos, and I'm really excited to introduce Billie Dunne to you. She was undecided about her path when she left school after A-levels. So she went off to Mexico to work on a children's refuge, and that, as I'm sure she will go on to explain, it was an experience that changed her life. She worked with a stubborn 2-year-old. I've got one of those at home, I know what they're like, and this whole experience led her to set up the wonderful organisation which she now comes to represent, called We Schools, part of a global international charity aimed at helping vulnerable children. We're delighted that you are here. She's going to come and say all the rest herself. Thank you very, very much for joining us today.
Hi, my name is Billie, and I'm here from an organisation called We. So you can see our logo here, and I have to say this, massive thank you to our sponsors, Virgin. Couldn't be here without them. They're not in the room, so we don't need to clap them, but a massive thank you from me. And I'm here to talk to you a little bit about my journey, about the organisation I work for, and to tell you that being young is not the easiest thing. Okay, it's not. Being at school, it's difficult. Everyone's like, yeah, this is the most amazing time that you're ever going to have, and after this is being an adult. And I still haven't got to that adult point. I'm 24, still not quite got it down, and that's okay. So I'm just here to give you a few tips and tricks, give you a few things that you can get involved with if this is something that interests you. Click is not working, so I might just have to point over to you if that's okay. So first thing I'm going to do is to say thank you to the teachers. Loads of work goes into organising things like this, so a massive thank you from me. And now I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. So if I can go on to the next slide, please. Okay, so I'm going to talk about inspiration. As young people, I feel like this word is overused. Everything is inspiring. So I actually looked up in a dictionary, and it's to instill the motivation in someone so that they can go and achieve amazing things. And I was thinking about what inspires me. So as a young person, I went to the first place of information, Instagram, and this is what I found out. So, should I see if I can move? Thank you. So this is what I found out, that I should be inspired by a girl who's got very brown legs with a ripped jean and a new phone. That's what should inspire me as a young person. Or is it a quote, but someone can't even tell me who that quote is by and why they wrote it? Okay, so this is what's meant to inspire me. So I was thinking about it, what actually does inspire me, because things on Instagram don't. What does inspire me? So I was thinking about a few things. So the first thing that I thought about, you could jump to the next slide for me. Thank you. Is music. I find a lot of inspiration in music. I cannot sing. It is a disgusting sound that comes out of my mouth. But that doesn't stop me. When I'm in the shower, got my shampoo in my hair, I'm going for it. It's a full performance, okay? And it does inspire me. So I listen to lyrics sometimes and I'm like, I wish I wrote that. That is speaking to my soul. I love it, right? So music's one of the things that inspires me. Next slide for me. Massive thing that inspires me is reading. Big reader. I spent 5 years of my life working in Waterstones in a bookshop. Love reading so much. So things that I read that will inspire me, whether that is articles online, whether that's something I see on Facebook that somebody's post, I'm still inspired by it. My favourite author of all time is Dr. Seuss. There is a book called Oh, the Places You'll Go, and if you are ever stressed about your life, just read that book. And it's basically like, you're going to fail, but that's okay, because you're still great. And I love that. I'm like, yeah, that speaks to me. So loads of different things can inspire us, but maybe it could be a little bit closer to home. This is, as Sarah mentioned, I started my own charity that's based in Mexico. And this is where it's based, and it's the most beautiful, inspiring place. I love the culture, I love the people, and I love the young people that I work with. So it could be places that we visit. Things that could inspire us could also be people at home. So these are 3 women that massively inspire me. So Malala, for obvious reason, the youngest person to ever win a Nobel Peace Prize. This is J.K. Rowling. I love her because of her determination. She wrote the first chapter of Harry Potter on a napkin, gave it to publishers, obviously not on the napkin, I hope she typed it up, but after that, no one's saying, no, I'm never going to publish, this is never going to work for you, you need to think about something else. She was a single mother, she was struggling, and then someone took hold of that, and look at the franchise that it is now. And she does absolutely amazing things. She works with children that are institutionalised, she set up her own charity, so focus on young people who are orphans and how we can integrate them into our communities. And this lovely lady, last of all, is my mum. My mum's my biggest inspiration. She has made me such a confident young woman, and for that I will always be thankful to her for. So when I came home and I was stressed out about school, I was struggling, we would just dance in the kitchen. That was like our thing, so I'd have a pots and pans, I'd be stirring my beans. Am I using this one? Thank you very much. So this is my little family. So my mum always told me to dance like nobody's watching, and that's how I live my life. If you don't like me, that's cool, because I like me. That's how I live it, okay? I'm not going to love every person I meet. Every person I meet isn't going to love me. And I'm okay with that as long as I'm comfortable with the person that I am. So I dance like nobody's watching. It's a good job that I can dance better than I sing. So that's a good thing. She is an award-winning businesswoman. On my mantelpiece at home, my mum and dad's house, there's this big, triangular award thing, pride and place in the middle, and that was a business award that my mum for being a top salesman in Europe. I should say saleswoman, salesperson. And I'm really proud of her for that. But she obviously gave up her career when she had 3 children, me and my sisters. And that's something that I also think is pretty amazing, because I'm not sure that I would ever give my career up for a small little human. I'm not sure about that, right? So I admire her for being able to do that. She's met the Spice Girls. Now I know I sound really outdated when I say this, and I sound old. Spice Girls were the be-all and end-all for me when I was younger. My hairs were continually in bunches. I wanted blonde hair so I could be Baby Spice. It was a way of life for me. My mum came home. She used to work at Gatwick Airport, and she used to have a job called a meet and greeter. She just used to meet celebrities off the plane, as if that's a job. So she went and picked the Spice Girls up from their plane and showed them where they needed to go. Me fangirling, obviously. My mum came home with a McDonald's napkin, and she was like, I've got you a present. Now, I've always been told to be grateful for all the things that I have. So I'm like, oh, thanks, Mum, thanks so much. She gives me this napkin, a little bit of ketchup in the corner, and I'm like, thank you for my napkin. Does it come with a Happy Meal? I'm not sure what I'm meant to. Thank you so much. She was like, don't be stupid, open it, Bill. And on this napkin was a signed personal message from every Spice Girl. So I went into school the next day waving my napkin about like I was Queen Bee. I was like, take a look at this. I was popular for a whole half an hour. So I think that's pretty cool that my mum got to do that for a job. And she still looks after me. As much as I would love to think I'm an adult, I'm really, really not. I still come back to my mum's house with big bags of washing. And I'm like, it's got a bit too much for me. Can you help me? I can't fold a sheet. I think people that fold sheets have magical powers, and she is one of those people. So I still go to my mum for advice all the time, probably ring her 7 times a day. So this is my little family. So I've got my 2 sisters there, my nephew Jack in the middle, my mum, my dad, my sister's husband, and my boyfriend's just there as well. So this is my little family unit, and I've been very lucky to have such a stable upbringing, but unfortunately it wasn't always like that. My mum first got sick when I was 10, and I don't remember a lot of it. I remember going home with my dad crying and being really alarmed by that, because I've never seen my dad cry before. And I was sat down on the living room floor and I told that my mum had skin cancer. And I didn't really understand what it meant. I knew it was bad because that cancer word was mentioned, but I didn't really think too much of it until it came to Christmas. My mum had her final surgery Christmas Eve. She had to have full facial reconstruction. And she looked hideous. My mum will not mind me saying this because it is true. And I was obviously, as you can tell, the lead in the school play. This has always been my kind of area on the stage. And she said, I'll come, but I'll sit at the back and I'll wear a hat so no one can see my face. And I was so embarrassed of the way that she looked, I said no. So I stood up and did my thing, and I sort of looked in the crowd, wanting to see that familiar face, that someone that I knew. And to know that I'd said no because I was embarrassed, and that's why my mum didn't see that, I started to feel really guilty. And then it came on to Christmas Day. My mum had got all of our presents ready, which just seems ridiculous looking back at it now, bless her. But it completely ruined my Christmas because my dad had to cook the turkey, driest thing I've ever eaten in my life. Might as well have been a cardboard box, okay? My mum, bless her heart, managed to get over that, but she got sick again when I was 13. And at this point, it didn't faze me. I'm like, okay, we're doing this again. We've got this. She went in for experimental heart surgery. Some really amazing doctor flew over from Germany. It was the first time this operation had ever been performed in the UK. And I'm like, cool, we got over it once, we can do it again. And then she got sick again, and again, and again. And at this point, it really made me question what we were doing. I believe that if you're a good person and you put good energy out into the world, then that's what you deserve to get back. So I didn't understand how such an amazing woman in my life could be affected by so many different things. But as I grew up, I took on more responsibilities than a 13-year-old normally would at home. I became one of my mum's carers. And that completely just changed my perspective of what I wanted from life. I knew that I wanted to help people. To see my mum in such a vulnerable state and to see how amazing she was to come through that really inspired me. And she has never let this stop her achieving anything at all. She helps my dad to run a business. She looks after my nephew full time, and he's a nightmare. I witnessed a tantrum yesterday, it was awful, I didn't know what to do. And she's just amazing, but for me it wasn't quite the same. I didn't let it stop me, I was angry. I feel like that's an emotion that we always access quite quickly, is anger. I didn't understand why this happened to my family, why did this happen to me? So when all of my friends were going out on Fridays and Saturdays and I couldn't because I had to be at home to look after my mum, I was really resentful of that. Now I'm very grateful of that time that I had with her, but still I had a lot of anger around it. And my mum pushed me out of it. She forced me out of this mindset. I got my job in Waterstones and I saved up some money. My mum encouraged me to go and see the world. She wanted me to get a little bit more perspective on things and hopefully find some motivation. And I found out like these statistics. I'm just going to put them on the board. I'm not going to read them out because they're just numbers. But I don't think young people should be statistics. So we've got young carers, I was one of them. We've got children in care, orphaned or in refuge, and these numbers are just increasing. And I don't want young people to be a statistic. I want you to be a story, I want you to be inspiring. So that's kind of what inspired me to go to Mexico. So I went to Puerto Vallarta, left London. It's on the opposite side of Cancun. It's still an American tourist destination, but there is a tunnel that separates tourism from pure poverty. And I didn't realise that 40% of Mexicans are born into extreme poverty. I went out thinking I was going to see this. Beach, sun, sea, sand, mariachi bands from the Doritos adverts. I went really, really stereotypical in my mind, right? And I turned up here. And it was a big shock for me. Big, big shock. Just because you're living in poverty for a couple of months doesn't mean that you understand it at all, but it gave me an amazing insight into what these young people needed that I was working with. So my little crew, 52 young people I support in Mexico. I came home a completely different person, so inspired, met some amazing people. So I started my own organisation nearly 6 years ago. It started off with me and a girl that I met in Mexico being like, we can do this is going to be fine, and finding out that it's very difficult. But we've achieved some amazing things. I work a lot around mental health with young people that are living in refuge. They're either there because they don't have safe homes to go to, because they've been orphaned. I work around a lot of sports therapy, so engaging young people in sports and arts and crafts and things like that to try and give them some passion. I run a boxing club in a street community, so there's a variety of activities that I'm involved with, but it inspires me every day. It makes me believe in young people, to see the growth of the children that I've worked with in refuge and see them go on to achieve things that they're not meant to. Statistically, they are not meant to do anything. If you look at the statistics, if you're in care and refuge, what you're meant to go on to achieve, It's sad, but I just sent one of my first girls to the University of Guadalajara in September, which is my biggest achievement today, and she's so proud of herself, and she should be. So I'm hoping to try and push young people to achieve what they can, and I believe that as young people our voices should be heard. That includes me. I think I'm going to have to stop calling myself a young person when I hit 25, but I've still got 6 months left, so I'm going to go with it. But you as well, sitting here, think about what you want to achieve, what inspires you. I got my retirement age through the post recently. I had to sign up for a pension, which is really adult, isn't it? I was so scared filling out the form, my hand was shaking. Most adult thing I've ever done. And I'm going to retire in 2057. Yeah, 2057. So let's check on a fair few years for you guys. Enjoy what you do. Love what you do. So when people ask you what you're going to do when you leave education, don't think of it like that. Think about what you're passionate about and how we can turn that into a career. And this is pretty much what my boss did. So this is my boss, Craig Kilberger, at 12 years old. He was running late for school. We've all done it. I did it today. Couldn't find you today, by the way. You ended up at primary school, got a bit flustered. So everyone can be late for school, right? He ran downstairs, had just enough time to eat his cereal, to grab some Cheerios, whacked him in a bowl, and off he goes. So he's eating his cereal and he grabs his dad's newspaper that's next to him. And he was flicking through it looking for the comic section. But he didn't get there. He was stopped by this headline: Battle Child Labour, Boy 12 Murdered. So he read this article and he was outraged by what he read. It was a story about a young man named Iqbal Masih, who at 4 years old was sold into child labour. He was taken down to a carpet factory where he was made to tie tiny little knots in the end of carpets for 16 hours a day for 6 days a week. He did that for 6 years. He's now 10. And with the help of a human rights organisation, all of the young people were freed from that factory and everybody went home, apart from Iqbal. He decided that he was going to travel the whole of the world and he was going to speak out about this issue, speak out about child labour, about child poverty. And people started to listen. So he's now 12. Okay, so he did it for 2 years. He's 12 years old and he goes back home to Pakistan and he was cycling to his cousin's house when he was shot and he was killed. And he was killed by who was believed to be the carpet factory owner. Every time Iqbal spoke, the carpet sales would go down. It's as simple as that. The fact we live in a world where that exists upsets me, it makes me angry, it makes me want to do something about it, and that's exactly how Craig felt. So he ripped this article out of the newspaper, folded it up, put it in his backpack and went into school. He asked his teacher if he could read it to his class. His teacher said yes. So he stood up and he read this article, and at the end he said, I don't know what we can do about child labour, but I want to do something. Would anybody help me? And 11 other people put their hands up. So the charity that I work for was started by just 12-year-olds. That's it. They called themselves a group of 12-year-olds. Really original. But 2 decades later, this has evolved into a movement that we call We. And I'm here to try and get you guys to be part of that. You probably are already doing amazing things for your community, but I want to make it better. And some of the ways that we can do that is through getting you involved in some of the things that we do. So we have a programme called We Villages, where we support communities all across the world. You can see a few here, from rural China to India to Kenya. This is something that you could fundraise for, if that was something that you were interested in. We have a campaign that we run every single month to help you do this. And we focus on education, water, health and food and opportunity. So we started building schools, but students weren't turning up. Students weren't turning up, particularly if they were women, because they bear the responsibility of collecting water. So instead of going to school, they would go to the well, collect water and bring that home. So then we put a water source next to the school so that girls could start to come. Who's missed school when you're not well? All of us, okay? So we need to make sure that our students across the world are happy, healthy, and can go to a doctor if they need to. Everyone knows what being hungry is, okay? If you are hungry, you are not going to be able to learn. So we need to make sure that young people are eating nutritious food so they can concentrate when they're at school. But they also need to be able to go out and get a job. And we need to make sure their parents are secure enough so that they don't have to work. So this is where our opportunity comes in, where we give women and communities the tools that they need to start their own businesses. So some of the things that you can get involved with, it's all online. So if you take a look at, the last slide, we.org, All of the information's on there. We have scholarship trips to go out to India to volunteer. You can come to We Day, which is an event that we hold in SSE Arena in Wembley. I know some students went last year. But I want to be a support system to you guys. So I'm going to give your teachers my email address, and say you've written a CV or a personal statement and you think it's rubbish, send it to me. And I'll be able to support you in volunteering, careers, anything that you need a little bit of extra advice on. But thank you so much for listening to me. Give yourselves a round of applause.
Billie now goes to actually take a breath after that review. It's a lot to get in. Thank you for just passing your inspiration on to us. It's a great story that you've told, but it's also a wonderful piece of work that you are doing, very much in line with the ethos of what we do here. I'm sure lots of people will have been touched by what you've said. Thank you hugely for giving us your time today, and good luck to all you do, and I hope many of us will come to join you. Thank you very much.